Okay, so the ridiculous engineering of short-form content. This one's a lot louder than the other one, so let me just see.
User interface in the world. Every single day we collectively watch not 1 or 10, but 616,572 years worth of content through this interface. And it's absolutely not by chance, because
Music choice is a little poor, but I need to rehear what... Actually, I need the subtitles.
this is the most successful user interface in the world. Every single day we collectively watch not 1 or 10, but...
What are the subtitles? What? So you're really watching this video in Klingon, huh?
This
Oh. No, sir. I'd like to watch it in English, please.
is the most successful user interface in the world. Every single day we collectively...
What is the most popular short-form content app? Is it TikTok? Is it Instagram Reels? Is it YouTube Shorts? Was it Vine? Who knows? I think TikTok is still up there. I think Instagram Shorts is coming up. I think a lot more people are starting to watch Instagram Shorts. Reels. But I think YouTube Shorts are slowly and surely getting there. The thing is, with YouTube Shorts, you have just a limit because YouTube just is like Twitch. They got like a TOS.
watch not 1.
You can't post what you want to
but
post.
616,572 years worth of content through this interface. And it's absolutely
A
not
year or
by
a...
chance, because this is one of the most hyper-optimized pieces of technology in the world. Every button, every interaction, even the tiniest seemingly inconsequential decision is engineered to make you spend more time. Try to swipe through some reels on your phone. You'll notice that even with just a tiny flick of your finger, you move on to the next one. See, most apps are built using iOS or Android's own UI kit, so that they don't have to make complex physics calculations for speed and acceleration just to create a scrollable list.
Okay, so the best way to explain this is it's like taking cocaine but on your phone. And without, like, the really bad effects of cocaine. Because pretty much what scrolling on shorts does is it gives you this rush of dopamine. Actually, no. It gives you a constant stream of dopamine, which is almost like taking drugs. And that's why it's so addicting, because it is technically like taking a drug. You know? Because it's a constant form of dopamine, you know? It's pretty bad. It's harmful, but I mean, it's obviously not as bad as taking drugs. So, like, if you're gonna do either, probably scroll on Instagram Reels. But, yeah, it's a constant form of dopamine. It's why a lot of people struggle to do anything outside of scrolling, because why do that when you could just open your phone and doom scroll? And get the dopamine you would get from hours of doing something else.
iOS just gives you...
It's just how the brain works. It's just how the brain works. It was heavily, smartly made for dopamine. You know, it was made to be addictive.
But Instagram, for example, doesn't. They built their own UI kit, simulating velocity and acceleration on the interface and how it reacts to your touch. But also so that in the Reels feed, you need way less force to move on to the next video, making it easier to scroll when you're in bed at 3 a.m. I'm Enrico, and on this series we go behind the scenes of the insane design, engineering and psychology of the tech products you use every day. There are 3 layers that make this all work, and only the first one is what you can actually see. But to understand that, let's start from something simple. Remember how short-form video feeds don't use iOS or Android's physics engine, but build their own to make it more responsive to swipes? Well, now try to swipe around the home screen on your phone. The animation is smooth, natural. It gradually comes to a halt when reaching the end of the page. Apple and Google designers spend hundreds of hours tweaking the animation curves to make this animation feel right, because the goal to them is to make your phone feel like something you can control with your fingers, emulating real-world physics. But now try to swipe through videos on TikTok or Shorts or Instagram. The animations are much faster.
Introducing Grammarly,
not
like
even
you've never seen before. Your all-in-one writing essential.
They built their own system in order to optimize it, not for making it feel smooth, but just for sheer speed, to make the next video come at you faster. And this is just scratching the surface of what's going on in this video feed. The video itself is full screen, and the interface doesn't have containers or bars. It's above the video with a slight shadow to create just enough contrast not to blend with it. In both Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube Shorts, the main action buttons might be slightly different, but they're always positioned right here. So that the
okay, so the one thing I realized about Instagram Reels, which is something I've only just kind of linked into, is it fucking sucks. The scrolling interface on Instagram Reels sucks. Now, I don't know if anyone else experiences this, but goddamn, I'm scrolling. I accidentally, you know, fucking, it just, like, you don't even mean to, and you kind of swipe that way, and you're back on the home page. That just interrupts the whole motion. They need to fix that. That's stupid. You're just breaking the whole pattern of, like, what you're made for. Which is probably a good thing, but hey. You know, I don't want to go back to the homepage, bro. I just want to keep scrolling on Reels. And it's not as smooth as, like, TikTok or YouTube Shorts. It's just not... the whole Instagram Reel thing is just not as smooth.
Thumb reach zone. These are the buttons related to engagement, liking, commenting, and sharing. They want you to press them. When you move from one video to another, instead of just the video moving underneath, the buttons move with the video and become slightly lower opacity as you scroll, because they need to convey the idea that the likes and comments are about that specific video, not part of the overall interface. And take a look up here. These are the options that the interface gives you to give you the feeling of control. Like on Instagram, did you know you can tweak your algorithm or change the type of your feed you're in? No? Well, that's kind of the point. These are purposely placed up here so that they're more cumbersome to reach. Seriously, you probably have spent hours scrolling through content, but how many times have you actually interacted with that stuff on top? Well, that's on purpose. There's no grid of thumbnails, no menu of options. There's only the next video that the algorithm chose for you. In psychology, there's something called unit bias. One unit of something always feels like the optimal amount. One video at a time and just one thing to focus on. When a video ends, it loops without any signal that the video has ended. For videos shorter than 15 seconds, there's not even a play bar letting you seek through. And for ones that do have it, it's quite small and not visible because that would be another point of friction, another decision to make. If you decide to skim through the video, it means that it's not engaging enough. And the main action you should take is just swipe to the next one. Casinos famously remove all clocks and windows and are purposely designed as a maze to make you lose track of time. This is the psychology principle called chronoception. Our perception of time is subjective, and short-form interface exploit this. By removing every signal that tells you a piece of content is beginning or ending, everything blurs into one. Just one session where you lose track of how long you're scrolling for. Literally every detail is built for this. For example, on YouTube, when the video is loading, you get the dreaded spinning wheel. On short-form feeds, have you ever seen one? Well, it's on purpose. Instead of showing you a spinning wheel, making you get out of the flow of watching, they preload the first frame of the next video. And that's what you see while things load, so that you get a preview of what's going to happen without making you realize that you're actually waiting for something to load. Once the video is loaded, it just starts. But this isn't just about what's inside the feed. It's also how you get there. Try searching for a TikTok on Google. The videos are there, they are indexed and they show up in search results. But when you click, you can't watch it. The video is behind the sign-in wall. And even after that, they push you really hard to download the app. This doesn't happen with a regular YouTube video. They still push you to sign in, but you can still watch the video.
Do they actually?
Because for short form, the individual video is not what's really valuable. Not only they don't get any advertising on a single video, but the real value is not in the single piece of content, but in you getting addicted to the algorithm. And for that, they need you to sign in. But this interface, the short form...
Whoa! Whoa, that's a whole lot of cake for one man. Shorty, please! Buddy,
video feed.
Did anybody else catch that? Was that? This gives us a clear idea of personalized algorithm. Thank you. I lost him. Brody, I did not. Thank you.
ended up becoming successful
Thanks
because it became something bigger than itself. For example, this is a concept I developed on an older video, where swiping diagonally lets you make a choice from going deeper into a topic or explore different type of videos. There is a reason they haven't implemented this yet. Because contrary to all the other video interfaces like YouTube or Netflix, the short-form UI is built for extreme simplicity. There are no carousels, no grids to choose from, nothing to understand, just one simple gesture. This is called Hicks' Law. The more options you have, the harder it is to decide. YouTube gives you a grid. Netflix gives you...
Chat, are you a guy who scrolls and likes every video, or are you a guy who scrolls and likes no videos? Because I'm the second one. The only videos I like are the ones I would show people. And we're not going to go through those because... yeah, we're not going to go through those.
Your rows, and short form gives you one video and just
I think I would get cancelled.
Now, short form feeds have basically been invented by TikTok.
Not because it's like
discovered by Instagram and YouTube Shorts. But not only that, Spotify...
hold on, he meant to do that.
Even Amazon...
What the fuck? He meant to do that. What is... It's crazy how the ass shaking short was the most replayed moment of this video. I guess we know what... I guess the people know what they want, but damn.
Your rows, and short form gives you one video and just one thing to do: swipe. Now, short form feeds have basically been invented by TikTok, but they ended up being discovered by Instagram and YouTube Shorts. But not only that,
I would argue, well, TikTok kind of went for the Vine format. Just long, like, instead of 6 seconds, it's 15 seconds. They obviously upped it to like 30 seconds and then like a minute. But, you know, Vine was kind of the originator of quick form content, but there wasn't like a scrollable feature to it. You know? And, like, to be honest, we all back in the day, everybody was watching Vine compilations on YouTube. So technically, it's kind of like the same thing to just scrolling on shorts. But it's only like 30 minutes and not like 3 hours. And it kind of like doesn't blend into one because of multiple different like creators doing it. And it's only 6 seconds. So it's kind of like you have to kind of concentrate, which actually makes you like realize what you're watching when you're watching Vines because it's actually intelligible humor. A little cringe, some of them. Let's be honest here. Nostalgia blinds us with Vine. But it was still a peak era of time. And the jokes were pretty good. It's just, you know, like I said, pretty much what I'm trying to say is Vine probably, I would argue, was the originator of short form content, but it wasn't the originator of scrolling content. I mean, to be honest, if you really want to think about it, like Facebook, you could scroll on the homepage, kind of gives you the same idea. I think Facebook's a pretty good one. Twitter is another good one, because on Twitter you can get kind of just stuck in scrolling and just reading things. Obviously, it's not as addictive because, like I said, you have to be kind of concentrated because you're reading them. It's not just happening at your face. It's not a visual overload of dopamine. It's just happening. Like on Twitter or Facebook or even just homepage of Instagram. Not really too much Instagram because it's most of the time it's just photos. So even on Facebook, most of the time it's just photos. So even on Twitter, sometimes it's just photos. But a lot of the time you have to concentrate on those homepages because they're actually words or meaning behind the post. Well, there's meaning behind every post on like TikTok and stuff. It's just not as quick.
Spotify.
So it doesn't feel as like crazy. Like it doesn't feel like a I can't really word it in a way where it makes sense, but
to copy them. Even Amazon launched an Inspire feed. Everyone seems to be copying the same user interface. This might be the most replicated user interface ever created. And that's because the short form feed went from being just how TikTok shows videos, being a design pattern. If I show you this, you know exactly how this works. I don't need to show you any instructions for you to understand that this is a menu and this is how it works. There's sub-menus. If I show you these, you already know more or less what these do. Again, no instructions needed. If I say the Tinder of music, without me telling you anything, you already imagine that you can swipe left and right to like or dislike something, and you'll get songs pop up. These are all design patterns. See, most
I'm sorry, but
interfaces.
What?
But with a select few,
is that a real thing?
They become so ubiquitous, and they ended up working so well that they...
Tinder of music. Tinder but for music. Whether you're here to fit. Fuck. Wait, hold on. Music swipe. Help fans discover artists. Yo, they need, if that's a thing, they gotta. If that's not a thing, they gotta make that. That's actually kind of genius.
They turn into design patterns. They're designed so well that they instantly click with people. So much so that other products ended up adopting them. Because you don't need any instructions. People just already know how they work. And while all the three major short-form platforms use the same design patterns, they all give their little twists to it. Instagram adds your friend's profile bubbles, showing who liked the video. They're wrapping a content feed in a social layer. Because
that really doesn't
add
that much.
YouTube Shorts puts a related long-form video on the bottom. Just as a reminder that you're still on YouTube and you can watch videos like this one. But everything we've seen so far is just what's on the surface. Now we start to actually go deeper. Imagine you're a product manager at Instagram. You're working on Reels and they ask you to make a decision. How many characters do you give creators to write a caption underneath their video? On the surface, this is a completely inconsequential decision. Or so you think.
Definitely one decision the product managers at these platforms had to make was whether the video pauses or plays when you open the comment section. Because sometimes they did pause and sometimes they did play.
This is Alastair. He's a friend of mine and he makes short-form videos that generated hundreds of millions of views. And there's no better...
Well, why not keep it playing? Okay, like, listen, like, I get annoyed when I'm, like, when a video like, when you're reading, like, a comment on a video and it's really long and it takes, the video to play, like, 3 times for you to fully read it, it kind of does get annoying. Or, like, when you lose your phone on the bed and the video keeps playing and is like, shut the fuck up, I'm about to tweak out type of thing. As anybody, I feel like it's happened to everybody, but it's actually the most annoying thing. Or, like, when you're doing something and you forget that you have, like, your phone on and the short plays consistently, is like, brother, please. Brother, please. It was an accident, man.
Person than him to tell you everything that's going on in the second layer. Because this interface is not just an interface. It ends up influencing and shaping the second layer, which is the content itself. See, when it comes to
ChatGPT can now create website wireframes. With our new custom GPT,
my video. There's a lot of thought that goes into storytelling and crafting an interesting story, but that's pretty much it. YouTube's interface doesn't really affect the type of videos that I make. Sure, I should remember not to put stuff in the bottom right corner of a thumbnail because that's where the duration goes, but that's pretty much it. But on short form, the interface and how the feed works is deeply tied with the content itself.
So people would specifically make videos where you would have to open the comment section to get the full value out of the video. In those cases, you would make the video really short so that people will loop the video and replay it a bunch of times while
the retention is like 500% or something.
We encourage you to look at it on different platforms. They have different solutions for this. Some of them will cover the video with the comments. Some of them will
What the dog doing?
Squeeze the video and make it smaller. 2 very different approaches. Squeezing the video makes it easier to follow the video, and not squeezing it maybe focuses the user on the comment section. I'm thinking of like how the user interface impacts the content. And the example I'll give is that before, when you were swiping down on videos, the next video wouldn't actually start playing yet. So you would
whose Instagram Reels are this, bro?
Top half of the first frame of your video, because the viewer will already start to take that information into their brain when they're swiping down.
This is super cool. This is exactly the stuff that people will never realize. So basically, in the past, you started swiping and the video was already playing.
It wasn't playing yet, so it was even more important. So you would swipe down and like it would load the first frame, but it wouldn't start playing the video until the entire video is on your screen. So you would have to really think about what the first frame looks like, and also what the top half of the first frame looks like as they're scrolling down.
The decision of making the description box
what
longer or shorter,
fuck?
auto-playing or not the next video, making the comment box an overlay or so that it shrinks the video, well, all these seemingly innocuous decisions end up changing the way millions of people create content, and the content itself. But if you're the one that has to make these decisions as an engineer, designer or product manager, let me show you what you can do with the sponsor of this video, UX Pilot. UX Pilot is the fastest way to bring feature, interactions, and product ideas to life. Remember this?
Oh, it's an app.
Well, this...
Still not. Look, man, get your bread, get your dough, but hey, I don't really care about the ad.
UX Pilot to bring it back to life right now. But now let's get back to the video, because remember how the design of short form feeds influences the media? Well,
yes, sir.
This is nothing new, really. The medium has always been influenced by the media. In 1949, 7-inch records could only hold about 3 minutes per side. AM radio wanted short songs, so throughout the 1950s and 60s, pop songs were like 2.5 minutes. They were written to fit that limit. When
Well, why? Okay, here's the quote. Why fix it if it ain't broken? Like, why fix it if it ain't broken? Honestly, it's kind of smart to just keep improving what's not broken until it breaks. And then you go back. And then you rethink it. Because then you can constantly just improve it. Which is what they've done throughout the years.
LPs and CDs came along,
just makes the most amount of sense.
In TV, writers structure stories around ad breaks, building tension and cutting with specific ad placements in mind. With streaming, there's no need for this. When you actually watch Friends, that's why the pacing feels kind of weird. But the level to which this happens with short-form feeds is just on another level. Also because, contrary to many other platforms, here you have a second-by-second report on exactly what the audience is doing.
When you open your analytics, you see like a retention graph, for example. What does it look like, and what are you looking for? There's something interesting that you can share there.
On every platform, you're almost always looking for the same thing. You're looking for a high percentage of people choosing to watch the video, and then you want the rest of the chart as flat as possible. The thing that is not obvious until you actually start making a ton of videos and you actually start getting viral videos is how small the difference is between a viral video and a not viral video. Literally between 100,000 views.
What do you mean, brother? That's 104,000 views, bro. That is viral. And some people, that's viral in everybody's shoes. That ain't you.
And 10 million views. The difference in average percentage of the video
the retention will be different.
Like 5%. It can literally be from like 75% average watch for video on YouTube Shorts to 80% could be the difference between 100,000 and 10 million views.
Yeah, that's crazy. I didn't know that.
Yeah, the margin is like that thin sometimes. But the point is that like
Vibe Coding 101 Part 3. Stop typing your prompts. Seriously. Your prompt and cursor.
All of these.
Shit. So just make interesting content, I guess. So the first frame of the video, of like where it starts, needs to be the most interesting. And typically it has to be the most interesting at the top of the screen because that's what they're gonna see first. And then the content also has to be interesting. Okay.
Margin is like that thin sometimes. But the point is that like all of these like small things that you think are not important, like which words in the caption appear first, all of it adds up because the difference between 100,000 and 10 million is literally, it's like 100x, but it's only a few 1% improvements.
Now, I know what you're thinking. These companies are so evil in designing products this way, in this predatory manner.
Why not eat my farts?
That's not exactly what happens. No designer or product manager ever sat down and said, let's design.
You gotta pay me first.
What they do is continuously run hundreds of experiments at a time. That's why your friends might have an app that's slightly different than yours. Everything we saw so far is the result of an insane amount of testing. They keep what increases engagement and kill what doesn't. And over time, what naturally happens is that the winning designs are the ones that exploit psychology. Not because they chose to, but because the math just converges there. And on the creator side, the same convergence happens. Every creator sees the same retention graphs, the same analytics, the same numbers, pushing them all towards the same hooks, the same editing style, and the same tricks. The platforms doesn't just host the content, it literally designs it. And now we come to the final and third layer, the one that makes this all work. This is Arman Konker, an ex-TikTok engineer, and it called it the most valuable piece of software in existence. The secretive algorithm that decides what we watch among billions of videos. So secret that, well, here it is. In
it's just all
TikTok actually published a research paper detailing how it works. And the biggest difference between all the other video recommendation systems like YouTube or Netflix is this. Traditional systems work in 2 steps. First, they train their algorithm on a bunch of historical data. The videos you like, you watch,
in the AI?
And then they serve you recommendations based on that. The problem is that by the time they finish training, your interest has already moved on. The paper calls this concept drift, and they put it beautifully. Visual and linguistic patterns barely develop in a scale of centuries, while the same user interested in one topic could shift their zeal every next minute. So on TikTok, every action you take, every like, every skip, every time you let a video loop, how you swipe, these are all actions that get logged and put into what's called a Kafka queue. Think of this as a pipeline, a stream of data constantly flowing from everyone's phones, everyone's app, to the overall model. Then there's a system called the joiner. It takes your action and matches it with your profile, who you are and what you watched before, what time it is, everything. This creates a training example that gets fed directly into the model. The model learns from it, but here's the key difference. The model is not updated every week or every day, but every minute. The one model that serves the next video to billions of people is constantly fed and updated faster than you can finish watching the TikTok you're watching in that
It's kind of impressive.
Take a look at
think
this.
about that.
This is a chart of how accurate the recommendations are over 50 hours. The orange line is the old recommendation system, frozen in time at the beginning of the 50 hours. And the blue line is the recommendation system, but that gets updated every 30 minutes throughout. Now, this might seem like a small difference, it's around 13 to 14%, but this is the magic sauce that makes these short-form algorithms so addictive versus anything that came before them. Now, you've already probably watched videos that talk about the effects that short-form videos have. I even make some of them myself on this channel. But if there's one thing that this video can teach you, is that whenever something becomes so ubiquitous and so popular and so viral and such an integral part of our everyday lives, it's usually because underneath, there's so much design, engineering, and psychology that we never get to see. For example, remember these? Sound used to be an iconic part of our tech, but now it's kind of gone. Sound design is one of the most fascinating aspects of the tech products we use, and there's a reason why it's gone today. And you can learn all about it in this video right here.
It was a setup. I should have guessed. You know what W setup?
I'm a
W video.